All right, Shalom. Giving all praises, glory, and honors unto Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to 144,000. Rest of the hopeful elect. This is your brother Zion, I'm GMS Atlanta. Back with another edifying video. There's been a number of different protests. More protests, more uproars in different countries around the world. And as usual, these things that are happening, first and foremost, they're not always reported on CNN or Fox News here in America. So where most of the news is directed towards local and state news or major breaking news around the country, there's other places around the world that have events going on that is relevant to Bible prophecy. And that's the key thing when it comes to us doing these videos. We definitely speak on U.S. American issues, but we also have to speak on issues that are happening around the world. You know what? Let me get this precept first so you can understand. Most of you do. I know you do. But I'm going to get the precept that we have to pretty much, remember, although we do speak to our own people, Israelites, so-called black Spaniards and Native Americans and the Israelite foreigners, we also are set up to speak and prophesy about what's going on among the other nations as well. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1. Chapter 1. And let's see. I'll start at verse 4. It says, Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Behold, I formed thee in the belly. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. So the prophet Jeremiah was always destined to be a prophet. The same way those of us in this truth and this faith of understanding that we're an Israelite, us men, especially, really those of us on the highways and the byways and the streets, we were called, I'll say, to be prophets. All right? It says, Before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So we're a prophet to not just Israel, but all the nations, right? I'm going to jump down to verse 10. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms to root out and to pull down. Meaning what? Meaning our words are going to resonate from the Holy Spirit of what's going to happen to these nations, whether they're going to be builded up or whether they're going to be brought down. To root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. So right now, we're in the time of bringing down the kingdom of Esau and the other nations. Okay. So we're set up to destroy, speak on the destruction, I'll say, through the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai, to speak on the destruction of Esau and the kingdom of the other nations, and the building and the planting of the Israelites. So we do have to speak on these events from around the world. So let me start here with this here. So there was a storm that came through Vietnam, And it says Storm Trammy lands in Vietnam, posing flood risk, toll rises in Philippines. It says Storm Trammy hit central Vietnam on Sunday, threatening to trigger heavy rains and dangerous floods. Remember, we're still in hurricane season, or what they call them on the Pacific, typhoons, but they're still hurricanes. It says, after leaving a path of destruction in the Philippines, the Southeast Asian country with its extended coastline is prone to storms and floods that often cause significant casualties and property damage. Let me jump down. It says the storm hit the Philippines on Thursday, causing floods and landslides that have left 90 people dead as of Sunday, up from 46 deaths reported on Friday, the disaster agency said. So there was a major destructive storm in the Philippines, and it hit Vietnam. Nearly 100 dead. Now, if that happened over here in the States, which we just had 2 hurricanes hit here in the southeastern United States. So it's just a matter of you being able to see what's going on, paying attention. It's all the judgment of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says state media reports said Trammy's strong winds downed trees and advertisement boards in Da Nang. Last month, Typhoon Yagi and the floods it triggered killed more than 300 people and caused property damage of more than $3.3 billion in northern Vietnam. So now let's go to the next one. So this is from Barron's, and it says internet blackout hits Mozambique capital after election protests. So if you haven't really heard anything about what's going on over there in Mozambique, maybe you have seen certain things, but they have an internet blackout over there. Mozambique's capital, Maputo, on Friday suffered a mobile internet blackout after protests against the re-election of the ruling Frelimo party descended into violence. Protests erupted on Thursday. Protests erupted on Thursday with hundreds of opposition supporters rejecting what they called a ballot stolen by a corrupt electoral commission in favor of the party which has ruled since 1975. And that's the gist of it. I'm just hit these brief points. So, as you can see, the major protests, riots, violence took place in Mozambique. There was an internet blackout. That's another sign of the times, which is the end of this current society. Let's go to the next one here. From the NL Times, hundreds of Syrians protest in the Hague against government plans. Several hundred Syrians gathered on Langevoort in the Hague on Sunday afternoon to protest against the cabinet's plans to declare parts of Syria safe. According to the organization Free Syrians Netherlands, it is absolutely not safe in Syria as long as Bashar Assad is in power there. We are not fortune seekers, they said. A return to Syria means a return to hell. The protesters waved flags of the Syrian revolution and carried signs with text such as long as Assad rules, there is no Syrian who can return, and it is not safe with the dictator in charge. So this is the situation in Syria. So there's a lot of anti-government protests going on around the world. This one here. Thousands of demonstrators march across Italy to call for an end to wars. This is coming out of Rome. Tens of thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in 7 Italian cities on Saturday, calling for an immediate ceasefire in the Middle East, Ukraine, and all global conflicts. Peaceful rallies were held in Rome, Turin, Milan, Florence, Bari, Palermo, and Cagliari, with the support of hundreds of associations committed to peace, disarmament, and human rights. The marches came in response to escalating violence in the Middle East and growing conflicts worldwide, and denounced the diminished role of the United Nations on the global scene. In Rome, a few thousand demonstrators marched waving a great rainbow flag in front of the Colosseum and a banner with the slogan, "Let's stop wars, the time for peace is now." Well, we're not in the time for peace. We're not in the time for peace. We're in the time for war. When you read the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, it says there is a time for peace and there is a time for war. This is from Press TV. Thousands rally in London against far-right racism. Let's see if I can get some words here. Here we go. Not far from the counter-demonstrators, those who find immigrants the reason behind the socio-economic woes of white working-class Britons are marching. The detained leader, who goes by the alias Tommy Robinson, was behind the violent race riots this summer. Ahead of the march, he was arrested by the police upon his return from abroad under counterterrorism legislation. So you have racial protests erupting over there in London. Thousands rally in London against far right. Thousands of anti-racism protesters hold a rally in the city of London, slamming a rise in Islamophobia in the UK. So this is the sign of the times, like I said before. Okay? So now let me get a precept. Let's go to the Apocrypha. And this time I'm going to get 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. And I'm going to close it out. It doesn't have to be long. Pretty much just reporting the headlines now and just going through these scriptures. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, an uproar is a protest, a riot where there's noise, okay? The rabble of the people. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Meaning what? Prophecy. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest, which is the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. The times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And all these protests and riots that we're seeing are signs of the end. So these nations are dealing with these protests, riots in their own situations just as much as we're dealing with particular things in the U.S. And, there's only, a little over a week until the election's here. And then, that could lead, certain things could lead to civil unrest. We'll see. But with that, hope this was edifying. Shalom.